Indult Catholic was a traditionalist Catholic loaded term used in the early 21st century until c. 2007 as a pejorative label applied to conservative Catholics who attended only the licit celebrations of the Tridentine Mass in Latin according to the 1962 edition of the Roman Missal and regulated by the local bishop through an indult that conformed to the 1984 Congregation for Divine Worship and a discipline of the Sacraments norms in the Indult Quattuor or abhinc annos. The Tridentine Mass was the normative usage of the Roman Rite Mass from the time of the Council of Trent until the liturgical reforms of the Second Vatican Council. When the Mass of Paul VI, the newer usage of the Roman Rite of Mass, replaced the Tridentine Mass, the older usage of the Roman Rite of Mass c. 1970, but prior to Quattuor or abhinc annos, celebrants were issued by the Holy See to some priests permitting them to licitly celebrate the older usage, but bishops complained about this approach. In 1971, Pope Paul VI permitted, in what is known as the Canon of the Agatha Christian Indult, local bishops in the Catholic Bishops' Conference of England and Wales to permit the occasional celebration of the older usage according to the 1967 modifications to the 1965 edition of the Roman Missal. In 1984, the Congregation for Divine Worship and the Discipline of the Sacraments issued an indult to diocesan bishops in Quattuor or abhinc annos, which permitted the diocesan bishops to grant indults under certain conditions to churches and oratories permitting celebration of the older usage in Latin according to the 1962 edition. Some traditionalist Catholics practice the faith outside the discipline of the Catholic Church and reject the doctrinal and liturgical reforms of Second Vatican Council. They claimed that no authorization was required for celebrating the older usage of the Roman Rite of Mass. They decried those who accepted the conditions attached to the Quattuor or abhinc annos indult, applying to them the term Indult Catholics, and frequently did not recognize them as fellow traditionalists. In 1988, following the canonically illicit consecration at Econe, Switzerland, of four Society of St. Pius X members as bishops by Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre, John Paul II recommended, in Ecclesia.Dei, a wide and generous application of the norms in Quattuor or abhinc annos and established the Pontifical Commission Ecclesia.Dei to facilitate the return of traditionalist Catholics into full communion with the Holy See. The term Indult Catholic became useless as a polemic in 2007 when Pope Benedict XVI promulgated in Summorum Pontificum, a universal law for the Catholic Church which reformed the norms about the older usage of the Roman Rite of Mass. It replaced the norms in Quattuor or abhinc annos and Ecclesia.Dei, which regulated through diocesan-level indults, with universal church law. Benedict XVI read that precise juridical norms regulating the use of the 1962 Missal were missing because some bishops feared that the authority of the council would be called into question. Benedict XVI read that while fidelity to the old Missal became an external mark of identity in the Society of St. Pius X, the reasons for the break which arose over this, however, were at a deeper level.